AITA for serving my husband divorce papers after overhearing him planning to cheat, and then keeping the savings I'd been building for our future, even though he's calling it financial abuse. I'm 32F and have been married to my husband, Mike, 35M, for 4 years, together for 7. We met at a local coffee shop where he was fixing his laptop. He's an IT support for a tech firm, handling network issues and client setups, and I work as a marketing coordinator at a small agency, creating campaigns and social media content from home most days. Life's been steady. We live in a cozy apartment in the city, share chores, and have date nights watching old movies. We signed a prenup early on because he insisted after seeing friends go through messy divorces, and I agreed since we both had some savings and student loans to protect. Lately, Mike's been complaining about his old sedan breaking down, random engine noises, stalling at lights, and he's been hinting at wanting a new truck, something reliable for his commute and weekend hikes. It's around $30,000, not cheap, but I figured we could make it work. We've been tight on cash with my freelance side gigs drying up, so I started picking up extra projects, working late nights and weekends to build a truck fund. Mike seemed appreciative, saying he loved how supportive I was. His buddy Dave, 36M, who's single and works in sales, would hang out with him when I was busy, grabbing beers or playing video games. Last Wednesday, I finished a client call early and came home around 8 p.m. instead of 11. I heard Mike and Dave talking in the living room, laughing about exploring options and how Mike deserved something fresh. Dave encouraged him, saying Mike could always come back if it didn't work out, and Mike mentioned being careful with finances, but excited to test drive new things. It sounded exactly like they were planning an affair, with our marriage as the backup. Stunned, I slipped out quietly, drove around for an hour, then came back acting normal. Over the next days, Mike started talking about needing space to figure things out. Friday, he suggested a trial separation, saying he might crash at Dave's to clear his head. I played along but contacted a lawyer Thursday. By Monday, I'd moved our joint savings, mostly my extra earnings, to my account per the prenup. Thursday, he came home with pizza, talking about missing me already, but I handed him divorce papers. He flipped, calling me dramatic and accusing me of stealing his money. Family's divided. My mom says NTA for protecting myself. His sister thinks I overreacted without proof. The apartment feels empty now, with me second-guessing if I misheard. AITA, how do I stay strong through this mess? Update 1. Thanks for the judgments. Most said NTA, pointing out that overhearing affair plans isn't something to ignore, and self-protection comes first, especially with finances involved. A few suggested confronting him directly for clarity, which I considered. It validated my gut feeling. The day after serving papers, Mike showed up at our apartment early, banging on the door at 7 a.m. while I was prepping for work. He wanted to talk for real, admitting he'd been thinking about other options but claiming it was just stress from work making him doubt our routine. He said Dave had been pushing him with stories from his single life, and seeing the papers made him realize he didn't want to lose me. I asked point blank if there was someone specific. He hesitated, then confessed to flirting with a coworker, Lisa, 29F, from his office, but swore nothing happened. Dave had been egging him on, saying life was too short not to explore. It confirmed what I'd overheard, but Mike begged for counseling, saying we could fix it. I told him the trust was gone. If I hadn't heard that conversation, he'd have gone through with it, expecting me to wait. He got upset about the money, saying he needed access to the savings for basics during separation. I reminded him the prenup protected my earnings, and he'd have to figure it out with his IT salary. My mom called for support, sharing her own divorce story, but his sister texted me, accusing me of being harsh and not giving him a chance. Work was a blur. I botched a campaign draft from the distraction. Friends advised documenting everything, so I started noting texts and calls. Mike left that morning, but texted later asking to meet again. Reddit, your warnings about manipulation hit home. I'm staying firm. No reconciliation talks yet. The lawyer says the prenup holds strong. Family chat's tense, but I'm focusing on me. Update 2. Reddit, your advice to expect escalations and get everything in writing was spot on. Things ramped up fast. A couple days after our talk, Mike texted demanding we discuss logistics, and against better judgment, I agreed to meet at a neutral coffee shop. He looked rough, like he hadn't slept, and started with apologies, saying he'd cut off Dave and realized his fantasy was stupid. But then he dropped a bomb. He claimed I was pregnant, saying I'd mentioned feeling off weeks ago and he knew from symptoms. Timeline didn't add up. We hadn't been intimate in over a month, and I wasn't pregnant. When I called him on it, he backtracked, saying it was possible and we should confirm together for our child's sake. It felt like a desperate ploy to halt the divorce. I laughed it off and left, but it shook me. Back home, I got a call from my boss, someone sounding like Dave. had contacted HR claiming I was unstable due to personal issues and might be mishandling client data. HR questioned me awkwardly, but my performance records cleared it. I confronted Mike via text. He denied it, blaming Dave's overprotectiveness. My lawyer suggested a cease and desist for harassment. Family got involved. His sister hosted a mediation dinner at her place, where Mike tearfully said he was scared of losing everything. My mom attended for backup, but it turned emotional when Mike accused me of financial abuse for moving the savings. I explained it was my overtime money, meant for his truck, but now protecting me. Dave called me later, admitting he'd advised Mike poorly out of his own bitterness from a bad breakup, but begged me to reconsider. Work extended a deadline on a project due to my stress, and friends rallied with wine nights. The lawyer filed to speed up proceedings. Tensions are peaking, but your stories of similar betrayals keep me grounded. Update 3. After the fake pregnancy claim in Update 2, more layers peeled back, revealing just how far Mike was willing to go. My lawyer got a motion from his side claiming I was hiding assets and requesting temporary support, citing the moved savings as proof of bad faith. We countered with bank statements showing it was my earnings, and the judge denied it quickly thanks to the prenup. But Mike didn't stop. I came home one evening to find our apartment door ajar, with nothing missing but a spare key left on the counter. I called the police for a report, suspecting Mike had let himself into Snoop. Officers documented it as unauthorized entry, advising new locks and cameras. Sure enough, a neighbor mentioned seeing a guy matching Mike's description earlier, asking odd questions about arguments or other men visiting, posing as a concerned friend. It screamed harassment, so I installed a doorbell cam and changed locks that weekend. Family drama escalated. His sister called, saying Mike was spiraling and I should mediate foreclosure. My mom suggested a group call where Mike confessed more. The exploration was with Lisa, involving flirty texts and coffee meets for months, encouraged by Dave. But when Mike tried advancing during separation, Lisa backed off, learning he was still married. That's when he panicked and faked the pregnancy to reel me back. Dave admitted over the call to pushing it, projecting his issues. We all agreed to no contact for now, but Mike begged for another chance. Work gave me remote flexibility after I confided in a colleague, and I joined a support group for divorcees. The lawyer pushed for a quick settlement. Things feel chaotic, but progress. Mike's tactics are backfiring, strengthening my case. Update 4. 5 months since overhearing that conversation and serving papers. The dust has settled in ways that feel empowering, though not without scars. The divorce finalized last month. The prenup held, we split minimal joint assets, no alimony, and I kept my savings. Mike moved to a small rental, picking up extra IT gigs to rebuild. He apologized in a final email, admitting his plans were selfish and Dave's influence toxic. He's in therapy now, per his sister. Dave faded out after I blocked him, and family ties mended somewhat. We had a neutral lunch where his sister acknowledged Mike's faults, and my mom helped me redecorate the apartment. I've thrived at work, landing a promotion with better pay, and started hiking solo on weekends, reclaiming hobbies. The betrayal taught me to trust my instincts. Overhearing that talk saved me from worse pain. If betrayal surfaces, acting decisively can lead to freedom. Reddit, your insights on manipulation kept me steady. Signing off.